Okay. Name a time that prayer impacted your life. How did this impact you?
So last winter, I joined a women's prayer group and I started praying for my daughter's kindergarten teacher because this September she was starting kindergarten. And in my mind, I was thinking that I was praying for a teacher in a public school that was going to have similar values to what I had. And so little by little, I just felt a shift in my thinking. And in March, my sister-in-law sent me a job opening for here at EC. And I prayed about it. And then there was just so many different confirmations that said, this is your chance. This is what you're going to do. You're going to uproot your whole family. You're going to leave your job and you're going to come to EC. So it was just really incredible that the one prayer of I want my daughter to have the best kindergarten teacher led us to this place.
Okay. Ready?
Okay, go.
Okay. Describe an event or new habit that positively affected your faith. What was the fruit after Christ?
Yeah, I prepared for that question. And I brought my Bible to read a little bit from Psalm 77. I'm going to read from the Message translation, which I don't recommend reading if you really want to study the Bible super thoroughly, but every now and then it gives really good insight to just human emotion and how we might maybe respond to some questions in our life. So Psalm 77 from the Message goes like this. I yell out to God. I yell with all my might. I yell at the top of my lungs, and he listens. I found myself in trouble, and I went looking for my Lord. My life was an open wound that wouldn't heal, and my friend said, everything's going to turn out all right. But I didn't believe a word they said. I remember, God, and I shake my head. I bow my head. I wring my hands. I'm awake at night. Not a wink of sleep. I can't even say what's bothering me. I go over days one by one, and I ponder the years, and I strum my lute all the night, and I'm wondering, how do I get my life together? Will the Lord walk off and leave us for good? Will he never smile again? Is his love worn threadbare? Has his salvation promise burned out? Has God forgotten his manners? Has he angrily stalked off and left us? Just my luck, I said. The high God goes out of business just the moment I need him. And then the writer says this. Once again, I'll go over what God has done. I'll lay out on the table the ancient wonders, and I'll ponder all the things that you've accomplished, God, and give a long, loving look at your acts. Oh God, your way is holy. No God is great like God. You're the God who makes things happen. You showed everyone what you can do, and you pulled your people out of the worst kind of trouble and rescued the children of Jacob and Joseph. I like this psalm because it's a very clear emotional reaction to how when life can get really difficult. And what I think is really great practice that I've learned from this psalm is stopping in those like deep emotions where you really feel like, God, are you even there? Are you showing up? Everyone's telling me it's going to be fine, but I don't believe them. And instead of looking at the present or even getting anxious about the future, I've learned to start making a list in the back of my Bible, not this Bible, in my smaller personal Bible, of all the prayers that God has answered in the past for me. And similar to the psalmist in Psalm 77, where the language in the Message was kind of neat, where it says, I lay it all out on the table. And I kind of think about that literally. Like if you've ever collected something, let's say you collected baseball cards or you collected seashells or something like that, and you really lay out everything on the table and you look at all the cool things that you've collected over the years, like, wow, this is great. It's a way for us to look back on our lives and say, look at all the things that God has done. And I found that even in moments where I'm super stressed or I'm really anxious or I don't know what's going on, everyone's like, oh, just pray about it, it's going to be fine. I'm like, you don't get it, you know? My emotions are so high. When I go back to that list and I kind of lay out on the table all the things that God has already done in my life, there's confidence that I have there, and I think that's really helped me as a great habit. So I recommend it to all of you. Make a list.
Name a time that prayer impacted your life. How did this impact you?
One time we were doing a group prayer at youth group, and everyone was giving their prayer requests. And while everyone was saying like what they wanted or what they were going to pray for, I was thinking about like what I needed in that time. And then I kind of took a step back, and then I realized that I was in a position that I had prayed for a couple of years ago. So I, instead of asking for something that I wanted, I talked about how God had answered my prayer and I hadn't even realized. So this specific prayer helped me realize how important it is to show gratitude towards the Lord and to look back and see how He's helped you. I think a lot of the times I often ask for something that I want instead of thinking of how God has already worked in my life in some ways that I might not ever see. And I think this prayer was, one of the best times where I felt on fire for the Lord, because I was so eternally grateful for all the things He'd done that I hadn't even seen until that moment. And it helped me open my mind to seeing how God is like prevalent in your life when you won't even realize it.